She spoke to Adam Silver before the NCAA announced they were amending its certification process for agents and will no longer require them to have a bachelor's degree. Because last week the NCAA issued a memo to agents outlining the certification requirements that included a bachelor's degree, an MBPA certification for at least 3 consecutive years, professional liability insurance, and completion of an in-person exam. Now, after some blowback, the NCAA announced that instead, agents who don't have a bachelor's degree will have to be in good standing with the National Basketball Players Association. So, Dave, do you feel like the NCAA did the right thing?
Yeah, this is a win for logic. If an agent has a good standing and they're good enough for the NBPA, of course they should be good enough for the NCAA. I also have a pushback here. Do we take it at face value that the NCAA always has the best interests of its athletes at heart? I mean, that would be their argument to instill this rule that we're trying to protect these guys from people on the outside.
What do you feel the intention was?
Well, I mean, I think that may be the intention, but I have a hard time taking that message from that entity because it's not like they are sharing in the revenue of these student athletes when they are requiring them to do all these other things outside of going to school and playing basketball. And, you know, someone like Rich Paul, who has proven himself to be clearly look at all the revenue in terms of all the contracts he has on his books at Klutch Sports. He's a top 5 agent in the league in terms of production. And so to have that person somewhat be targeted and kept away from NCAA players is silly. And I spoke with Rich about this last week, and he said it somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but he said, do you think the curriculum that an agent gets at a college getting his bachelor's degree is going to be the same thing as what I got through Rich Paul University? And I mean, obviously, it's he was blowing some smoke a little bit, and it's true. Think about what he's been around since he was a teenager, basically. And he knows the business inside and out. And so they got it right, but they should have never got it wrong to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I was going to say. To Dave's point, this is just an example of the NCAA just looking like a complete clown show yet again, right? Just for the umpteenth time. I mean, this whole thing is about guys who are testing the waters and they want to come back to school. So what, if some guy who's going to come back to college and make a college team better talks to Rich Paul on the phone once, they're going to say, oh yeah, you're not allowed to come back to college. Are you kidding me? No, they're not going to do that. I mean, this whole thing was nonsense from the beginning. So they just created this entire controversy, made themselves look stupid, and for what? For nothing.
We had this debate the other day on the radio, and it's weird because growing up, my parents, the most important thing as Asian immigrant parents who came over was for their kids to get a college degree.
Yep.
And so when you're trying to say, it's important to get a college degree, and that's kind of like a mandatory, I guess I can understand for a job, right? But to me, just this did not sit well because we know, as Rich Paul eloquently stated in that athletic story, you don't need a degree to be a con man. You know what I mean? Like, some people who have a degree can be a con man, basically, right? So I just didn't like how that rule was eliminating certain people because Rich is right. There are challenges of going to college today to try and get that degree. We know going to college can cost you $50,000 per year. Not a lot of people can afford that. So I actually commend the NCAA for acting quickly.
Well, I just don't get what the point was in the first place. What thing were they trying to accomplish? These are guys who they allegedly want to come back to school, right? They want them to test the waters and then come back. Like, let them talk to whoever they want to.
Yeah, what was the reaction? Who were they targeting?
Right, let them get the most information they can get and come back.
Yeah.
Why are you limiting who they can talk to? Just let them talk to everybody.
I texted with one prominent agent who said, the level of formal education is not correlated to competence as an agent. Plus, anyone has the right to hire anyone else they want to represent their interests. This is the USA. So that is what this agent said. So I totally agree with that agent.
It just never made any sense to me from the beginning. I just don't get what they were trying to do, other than, as usual, look like a complete clown show.
Yeah, and let's take a look at actually how this last week played out too, because it was LeBron James who pegged it the Rich Paul rule with the hashtag. How much do you feed into the fact that this was a reaction of the power of LeBron James first with them implementing the rule, and then also how quickly they amended it?
But I mean, you expect LeBron James to speak up on Rich's behalf. What you didn't maybe expect, and maybe the NCAA didn't expect it, is a prominent agent like Jason Glushon coming out against it. Rich Kleiman, who is Kevin Durant's manager, not necessarily an agent, but his manager, coming out and saying—
He was an agent.
He was an agent, and he doesn't have a college degree either, he said. And so I think it was a complete miscalculation. And, what's going on in Indianapolis that this
We've been
is
saying
what they're
that for
doing,
decades
right?
now, right?
This is what they're doing in their spare time.
It's just unbelievable how incompetent the NCAA is repeatedly. You just see it over and over and over again.
Well, here's the thing. The Rich Paul rule pretty much had a shorter lifespan than the latest Team USA player to drop out. So.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.